Hello again. I am back. This is Robin Baranov with Views from the North. And I've got a wonderful little thing for you right now. We're going to talk LinkedIn for a minute. Now, for the marketers in the room, they might be moaning and shaking their heads and all that. But LinkedIn, after it was purchased by Microsoft, has grown leaps and bounds. The investments that they've put into the platform have really paid off. They're up over 300 million professionals on there right now. I, of course, am one of them. If you look me up, Robin Baranov is how you'll find me. Now, there's a few things I've noticed, a few pet peeves and a few best practices are what I really want to share today. Now, with LinkedIn, the big thing everyone focuses on is the vanity metrics that are connections. How many connections do you have? Interesting fact about the platform is there's a hard cap on how many first-level connections you can make at 30,000. Sounds like a lot, but in the world of social media, not really. Now, how are you going to make these connections? Just hop on there and start DMing people? Do you have a strategy? Well, if your strategy involves spamming people, you're going to get nowhere quick on there. You got to remember, you're dealing with business people, and most of them are pretty sharp cookies. Now, unfortunately, there's a couple easy ways to make connections on there, but it's a bit of a vanity metric to pursue the easy connections. And here's why. Just like the other social media platforms, they're going to boost your content based on engagement. How relevant and how engaging are your posts? And, well, if you're writing terrible content, you're going to get terrible results. There's a couple things I've found is A, do a personalized invitation to connect when you do find people. But before you even send that connection, you need to do a little bit of homework. Who is your ideal connection? I'm not talking about the specific person, but I mean, what job are they in? Who's their employer? What part of the world are they located in? What are their interests? You really need to understand these people so that you can make a worthwhile invitation to connect. Now, if you want the vanity metrics approach to just get as many connections as quickly as possible, look for people who put the acronym LION in their headings. What that means is LinkedIn Open Network. So what they're really trying to say is they can accept any connection request. And that's one way to get there. In fact, I did that for a little while, but I've since removed it. I keep getting connection requests from people that are like, have no business connecting with me. It's not that I'm uppity, it's just that I'm not in their target market, not even by a long shot. They have a regionally based business, but they're reaching out to 3,000 miles away. There's no way for me to help them. Pardon, it's been a long day. So, know yourself, know what you can offer, and know who can benefit from your offer. Know those things first before you start hopping on and looking for those magic connections that are going to make you so much money. It really doesn't work that way. Now, there's a couple ways to get your engagement up, to get your connections up, and to just grow as an online creator and build your authority. one of the simplest ones, and this gets me, I learned it from an Instagram marketing show, and that is the art of the first comment. Now, on Instagram, this is huge because there are people that read the comments, and you do want to talk with them. They're more likely to be an engaged connector. So what you do is you put a genuinely meaningful comment on someone's post, and you try and be the first few people to comment on this post. If you get like Gary Vee, forget about getting the first post. People are posting a comment to his material before he posts it. But there are other people that you can find a timing with where you can be one of the first commenters. Make it a good comment, make it a thoughtful comment, and people will respond to it. The more your comment gets seen and engaged with, the algorithm's going to bump your comment to closest to the original post position as possible. So you might be the 143rd commenter, but if you make a good comment that gets people engaged and gets people talking, then LinkedIn is going to move your comment up the comment ladder, if you will, and provide you this opportunity to have your comment on the author's post in front of virtually all of the author's connections. So it's a great way to get your word spread without having to write complicated long-form topics and copywriting. Now, when you do go for the connections, read their profile first. I can't state this enough. The reason you want to read their profile first is a lot of these people are skilled. Some of them are even really good copywriters. Okay, raise your hand in the room if you're a copywriter, right? So, comment specifically about what you like about what that person has shared, or something as simple as, hey, I think we've got some commonalities here. I'd like to get to know you and maybe follow along. Maybe there is a benefit to us working together down the road. Something along those lines. Do not, and I repeat, do not pitch a sales or service on two things: on the initial invite and on the first DMs thereafter. That immediately tells the recipient two things, and they are both unflattering. It tells them, one, that you don't give a darn about them as a person, and two, it tells them that you think that they are an easy mark, both of which are insults in the world of business. Get to know people. This is all about relationships. If you ever talk to people that are at the top of their sales game, and I've got a doozy of a connection in real life. He is the former lead salesperson for Fleet Bank. You remember back in the 80s how powerful Fleet Bank out of Boston was? This guy was their lead salesperson for the entire institution. And he proudly says that he never sold anything. See, once you get that far up in the sales game, it's not about pitching the right numbers or using that magic catchphrase that gets people to go yes. It all boils down to relationships, because ultimately what you are proposing is a wager of your mutual trust and respect between both of you and the money that could be gained or lost. If your money is not flowing correctly, then you will have lost way more than a sale. So what his specialty is he just got to know people. He literally took people out to dinner and lunch and socialized with them. He'd take them out golfing, of course. I mean, he was a regular on the golf course. And here's one of the things that just kills me. In the 80s, we all know how bad inflation's been since then. But in the 80s, his smallest account, so basically the petty cash of his smallest account was $1 million. And that was sitting in the bank under his charge. All of this because he did a couple unique things. He actually got to know his clients as friends. To this day, he still refers to many of them as friends of his. Secondly, he got permission and went into their business, into their corporation, to see firsthand what their pain points were, what they needed. Not what the bank was promoting, not what latest service was all the rage. He'd actually go in and see what it is that the business needed. They trusted him so much that they let him read their books. I don't know if you ever dealt with accounting people, but to get one of them to let you actually read the company's books, man, have you got to be trusted. That's the only way, is you've got to be trusted and reputable, and not just with one person. You're talking about whole departments got to trust you. So once you have all that figured out, you know who it is you would like to connect to. You know what their interests are. You know how they like to post and comment. You have got yourself in order. You know what you can offer. You know what you can't offer. Your strengths, your shortcomings. And you're approaching without pitching or being a used car salesman. You do that and actually engage with other people as a human, then LinkedIn is golden. Golden right now, all right? So, you've got all that. You've got your connections. What do you do with them? LinkedIn, like most social platforms, really does not like it when you share links. I've done this. And you know what I've noticed? Traction on your post goes through the floor. The algorithm will purposely sabotage you, just as it does with most platforms. But that's your opportunity. Now, as far as what to post, some of the biggest stars on LinkedIn right now they're not posting anything remarkable, but they are posting some very specific subjects. They're posting about jobs that they've found that are available. They're posting about HR concerns and how to overcome interview problems. They are posting about coming technologies and how to deal with them. So think on that for a minute. Everyone's got some experience and everyone has some value. Lead with your value. Lead with what you can genuinely contribute to the community. But perhaps the biggest trick of it all, don't broadcast, communicate. What I mean by this is there are some people on there that all they do is post about their business and about how great they are. And it's very boring. It's very irritating. And there's nothing worthwhile in their content. And they're frustrated because they don't understand why they're not developing a huge following. And the reason has to do with short-sighted selfishness. When you are a broadcaster in that you do not engage in other people's conversations and that you do not provide worthwhile responses timely and reliably, then they have no reason to have any interest in you if that's what you're doing. So here's what you need to do. You need to set yourself up with a content calendar. This is pretty simple. You can use Google Calendar or Outlook, whatever your go-to calendar app is, sheet of paper even. But plan out what days and times you're going to make content. Then you batch your content. What I mean by batching is if you're shooting videos as content for LinkedIn, instead of breaking all the equipment out and shooting a video, calling it done, editing it, all that stuff, make 2 or 3. This offers a significant time savings. Another thing is vary it up. LinkedIn has a couple great little quirks. They're really hot on video right now. They're even in some areas pushing live video. Unfortunately, my area is not one of them. But they also have a specific portion of the platform for long form content. You have a complicated subject with an answer that needs to be drawn out and detailed, post it there. The long form content attaches to your profile. So if you're getting profile views, then you're also going to get views on your long form articles. Why am I excited about this? Couple reasons. Long form content's fun to write. Just plain and simple. It's fun to write. If it's done well, it's also easy to read. Break your paragraphs up, keep the paragraphs smaller, but you can have more of them, giving you a chance to digest a larger topic. Videos, long-form content. Oh, the other thing about long-form content, all the copywriters will probably hop on board for a lively discussion of this. But long-form content has better click-through rate. They've got better engagement, better success with it. It's just better in general. So there you have it. We now have you sorted out. You know the value you can offer. You know who your primary desired connections are. You know how to engage. You know how to approach so that people will be more willing to accept your invitation for connection. And you know a little bit better about how to make engaging content. One of the fun parts about all of this is the opportunity for your other content. Make use of your tagline and your headline for other things like this podcast. Once this podcast is live, I'm going to add podcaster at Northern Views from the North podcast. Sorry, Northern Vistas Photography is my personal website. So I hope that gets you well underway. If you would like something written down so that you can follow along on this as a step-by-step thing, I will happily make it for you. But right now, until I've got a bigger audience, I'm not necessarily looking to make more content just to make the content. So feel free to comment. If you do want to see me break this down as a written post, again, comment and let me know. Any reviews you would care to leave right now, since it's early in my podcasting career, even the bad ones would be good. So feel free to hop on that invitation. I've got a few unique story ideas coming up that I am eager to talk with you guys about. So we'll see how that goes. I hope you have a great day. And from the far north, this is your host, Robin Baranoff. Have a great evening.